Alright, welcome to the Algebra 2 Rational Review. Alright, for 1 through 6, all we're going to do is match the graphs, get the transformations, the asymptotes, domain, and range. Alright, so I'm going to start off with A. Alright, you could always just plug it into the calculator. Y equals, alpha y equals -1 over x plus 2. Graph it. Right, the graph that matches that one should be 4. Alright, so the transformations here, we have a reflection over the x, and we're going left 2. Alright, looking at the graph, the vertical asymptote is at x equals -2. Horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. Our domain is all real numbers. X cannot equal -2. Same thing for the range. All real numbers, y cannot equal 0. Alright, next one, B. Alright, this one's just going up 2. So let's find one that's going up 2. Alright, right there, 3. It's going up 2. Alright, so C is going to go with 3. It's going up 2. The transformation up 2, the vertical asymptote is at 0. Alright, so we know it's 0 because there's not an h value, so x equals 0. Horizontal asymptote is at y equals 2. And then for the domain, it's all real numbers. X cannot equal 0. For the range, y cannot equal 0. I'm sorry, y cannot equal 2. Alright, so we got A, C knocked out. Let's look at E. That one fits with 1. Alright, that one's just reflection over the x. Alright, this one doesn't translate right, left, up, or down, so x equals 0 for the asymptote, y equals 0. Hold on, let me get another pencil. Alright, so this should be y equals 0. For the domain, all real numbers, x cannot equal 0. Range, all real numbers, y cannot equal 0. Alright, that's E. Alright, now let's look at B. I guess I should have went in order, but alright, B is 1 over x minus 2, so it's going right 2. Alright, so you can just either find a graph that's showing right 2, or you could always just plug into the calculator. Oh, look right there, 2. B is 2. 2 is B. Alright, this one's just going right 2. Vertical asymptote, x equals 2, because we went right 2. Right, there's not a k value here, so it's just y equals 0 for the horizontal asymptote. So all real numbers, x cannot equal 2. All real numbers, y cannot equal 0 for the range. Right. D is a reflection over the x and is going down 2. I can just look at the graphs. Look, this one is going down 2 since the horizontal asymptote is at y equals -2. Alright, the vertical asymptote is still at 0. Alright, so this one is also reflecting because you could just, alright, if you look at this graph compared to this one, look at the branches. Instead of being in the third quadrant, it shifted over to the second one. Instead of being in the first, it came down to the fourth one. So that's a reflection. Alright, that would be D. And then for the domain, all real numbers, x cannot equal 0. Range, y cannot, all real numbers, y cannot equal -2. Alright, so remember, this is what gives you the horizontal asymptote. This is what gives you the vertical asymptote. Alright, so there's nothing there, so that's why it was 0. Alright, so now for the next one, Oh, yeah, we only got f left, so it's f, vertical expansion by 2. X equals 0, y equals 0 for both asymptotes since it doesn't move anywhere. Our real numbers, x cannot equal 0. Our real numbers, y cannot equal 0. Alright, so that's graphing. Alright, main thing is knowing your asymptote, or how to identify the asymptotes. Alright, so remember 1 over x minus h plus k. H helps you get the vertical asymptote. K helps you get the horizontal asymptote. Right, h and k. H doesn't go with h. H goes with k. H goes with v. I don't know if that sounded confusing, but HA with K, VA with H. Alright, next page, you're given the transformations, you're just coming up with the functions. So this first one, we want to go left 5, down 2, so x plus 5, or up 2, so plus 2 at the end. This one, slope is just the a, 7 over x, and reflected, so you just need a negative out in front. Slope again, negative 5, that's just the a. X equals 8 for the vertical asymptote. So that means we want to go right 8, so we need x minus 8 on the bottom. Reflected over the x, horizontal asymptote of negative 4, negative 1 over x with minus 4 at the end, so we go down 4. Right, long division. Alright, so here we have, we have to figure out something we can multiply to x to get x squared. So that's just x. Now, once you find this number to put on top, you're going to multiply that to x minus 4. So x times x makes x squared. X times negative 4 makes negative 4x. Now, since you're subtracting, it's going to change the signs. Alright, so if I distribute, so this is what's happening. We have negative x minus 4x. So if you distribute the minus, you get negative x squared plus 4x. Alright, so all that happens is the signs change. So this becomes a negative x squared, this becomes a plus 4x. Alright, that's going to give us 13x, then you bring down the minus 12. Then do the same thing again. 1 times x makes 13x plus 13. 13 times x makes 13x. 13 times 4 makes negative 52. But remember this idea that minus has to distribute inside. So this becomes minus 13x, this becomes plus 52. Then I get 40. Alright, so since this is the remainder, at the end I'm going to put plus 40 over x minus 4, since that's what we're dividing by. Alright, same thing on b. 2x squared plus 18x minus 5 divided by x plus 5. Alright, what would give us a 2x squared with x? It would be 2x. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. They're both positive. When you subtract, the signs change. Alright, same thing. What times x makes 8x? It's plus 8. Alright, we have a positive 8x, we have a positive 40. Change the signs. I get negative 45. So minus 45 over x plus 5. And that's it. Alright, for 13, good one to know. Right now, this is not in graphing form, so we have to use long division to put it in graphing form. Alright, same idea we just did on the other ones. What times x makes 3x? 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 6. Yeah, 3 times 2 is negative 6. Now switch your signs. We get back a remainder of 1, so we have 1 over x minus 2. Alright, so y equals 1 over x minus 2, then plus 3 at the end. Alright, so you just want to rearrange it, put it in graphing form. The fraction part goes in the front, then plus 3 at the end. So h and k. Right, 14, this is inverse variation. Right, remember for this one, it's y equals k over x, or k equals x times y. Right, they tell us that suppose x and y vary inversely, x equals 4, y equals 8. We're trying to find x when y equals 2. 4 times 8 equals 32, so therefore x times 2 has to equal 32. So to find that, all I have to do is just divide by 2, and I get x equals 16. Alright, same thing on the last page. The number of days it takes a movie crew to set up a stage for a scene varies inversely as the number of workers. If the stage can be set up in 3 days by 20 workers, how many days would it take only 12 workers? How many days would it take if only 12 workers were available? Alright, so here varies inversely. Alright, we're talking about days, or workers in days. It takes 20 workers to build it in 3 days. 12 workers, how many days? 20 times 3 is 60. Alright, just divide by 12. Alright, so 5 days. Right, this one, a math test has a maximum point value of 100 points. The point value of each question varies inversely with the number of questions on the test. How many problems are on the test if each question is worth 2.5 points each? Alright, so we know points times questions equals 100. Alright, we know the points are 2.5. We're trying to find the questions. So 100 divided by 2.5 would equal 40 problems on the test. Alright, 17, a local veterinarian offers a wellness plan for pets for a set fee of $350 per year. You can take your pet to the clinic as many times as you wish. Which function best represents the average cost per visit for the number of visits in 1 year? Alright, so if I want to figure out how much each visit is worth, so I pay $350 for the year. If I want to figure out the cost of each visit, I would just divide it by the number of times I've gone. 350 over n. Right, then for 18, tell whether each table displays direct variation, inverse variation, or neither. Also give the k value and the equation. Alright, so the x values on this one are increasing. This one, they're also increasing. So if they're both going in the same direction, there's a possible chance it's direct. Remember, direct is y equals k times x. So there has to be one specific number. If I multiply to the x's, give me back the y's. Here it's 3. If I multiply 3 to the x's, I get back all the y values. Alright, so the function here is y equals 3x. Alright, 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, 5 times 3 is 15, so on. Alright, so it's direct, because they're both going the same direction, and y equals 3x. Alright, for this one, your x's are increasing, but the y's are decreasing, so it could be an inverse. To check for inverse, we would do x times y equals k. 0.1 times 3 equals 0.3, 3 times 0.1, 0.3. All these multiply to 0.3. You just check it in your calculator. Since all the x times y multiply to the same number, this is going to be an inverse variation. And the equation here is y over k, which is 0.3 over x. Alright, and that's the end of the review. Make sure you study hard, and good luck on your test.